That was probably the biggest embarrassment that my dad ever got from any of his children. But
I have heard, many stories concerning, young women, young ladies, let me call them that, who, while still under their parents would get pregnant and the kind of treatment that gets meted to them. Now, I am not a mom to your child, but I know that as a parent, it would be quite hurting and, heartbreaking when your daughter or your son comes and tells you that he has impregnated somebody and you have high hopes. You feel like this is not the time, for you to do all that. Well, in this video, there's this Cameroonian lady who came out to narrate her story when she got pregnant while she was still in school and just about rounding up from the uni. She got pregnant. Well, she gave us the entire gist and everything that happened. I truly want us to watch this video. This might serve as a lesson to we the parents and some of the younger ones, and even the young guys who would go and do unprotected sex with the females. Let's go watch and I'll be back.
I'm going to be talking about my first child, Precious, and my pregnancy and birthing experience. I got pregnant when I was still in the university. I was in my final year in the university. I couldn't tell my parents. I was 20 years old when I got pregnant and I was a UB. I hid it from my parents until I was 5 months pregnant. That was when my stomach started protruding. That's when the pregnancy started becoming more visible. I remember even my younger brother was much younger then and more innocent. He would look at me and be like, B, go and do some sports. The stomach is becoming very big. Yeesh. And I remember the day when he told me that, my mom just gave me that look. That look that told me, girl, your mama is not stupid. She knows. So you better go and tell her now. I didn't tell her that day. I went back to UB for graduation. We did the graduation. It was a horrible experience because my stomach was hurting. I was so sick. I was so weak, throwing up. My God, morning sickness was dealing with me. When we came back from the graduation, then I told her. Of course, she was heartbroken, but a part of her was happy. She's gonna be a grandmother. She had wanted to be a grandmother for a long time. I remember she used to attack my older sister like, oh, get married, give me a grandchild. Oh, you know how our parents are. Anyway, so she helped to tell my dad. That was probably the biggest embarrassment that my dad ever got from any of his children. For the first time I saw my dad cry, tears. He was so hurt. And I'm very active in the church, so everybody in church knows me, and I'm the one who gets pregnant. And guess what? My dad is a pastor. He was still a pastor then. He still is a pastor now. He almost lost his job. I'm glad the church didn't lay him off because of me, because like they say, you born picking, but you need born the bikini hat, right? He did his best and the rest was for me. I made the wrong choices, but I'm so glad that I decided to keep the baby. However, I had to be sent away. I was sent away from my home. I was sent to Nigeria. I was living with my mom's step younger sister, and my mom's mom was also in the same house. My experience with them was unpleasant, to say the least. My aunt said she was going to teach me the lesson that my mom failed to teach me. So hopefully this statement can give you an idea of the experience that I had. I'm 20 years old, fresh from the university, pregnant in a foreign land. I was in Nigeria. I didn't know anybody or anything there. There was no way I could go. Every day I would call my mom and I would cry on the phone and beg her to come and save me, pretty much. She kept talking with my dad to let me come back home. And long story short, I'm so glad that my dad finally accepted for me to come back home. My mom also had a commitment that she needed to do, which delayed her coming. But when she was done with that, she finally came to Nigeria. And you would think that the maltreatment ended when my mom came. Nope. They added her to it. And she told my dad. She thought I was probably exaggerating it, but she has come, she has seen, she has experienced it for herself. And there is no way that she's leaving me in this country with this baby and going back to Cameroon. So it's either we come with her, or she's staying there with us. Because if she leaves us behind, there's no way that I was going to survive with a baby. So my dad finally accepted for me to come. But I have skipped a part. Now let me tell you, before my mom even came, I remember there was this time that I was in so much pain. My ribs were hurting so much. Yeah, I was pregnant for 11 months. If I cough or laugh or do anything that exerts pressure on my lips or my ribs, it will be so painful. And I remember I went to the hospital, and the midwives and the nurses, they told me that I need medication. If I leave without medication, I may not make it back the next appointment. I may not survive, because the pain was really excruciating. If I lie down, I cannot get up until someone comes and lifts me up, because to get up, I need to exert pressure on my ribs, and I can't afford to do that. I told them I don't have money. I don't have any money. I didn't have money. When I had to go for my antenatal, they would give me the exact amount that I need for the pregnancy pills that I was taking, the blood medicine and the vitamins that I was taking. They would give me the exact money, and I remember I would always beg the driver, negotiate as much as possible so that I can get maybe 10 or 20 naira out of the transport money, so I can buy an energy drink for myself, because I couldn't afford to buy like food. So I can get an energy drink. And I forgot the name. I don't even know how I forgot the name of this drink. I had one, my favorite drink. I'm ashamed to say it was my favorite drink because I forgot the name. But yeah, there was this particular drink. It's gold in color. I loved it. An energy drink. I used to buy it every time. Oh, by the way, I was in Plateau State in Jos. So this day, when they noticed that my ribs were really serious, the midwives told me I have to buy the medicine. I told them I don't have any money. They looked at me and they felt so bad. They finally gave me the medicine for free, because they knew that if I left without this medicine, I might not have survived. I don't know if the midwife paid from her pocket, or I don't know what they did in the background. They just gave me the medicine. I cried a lot that day, and it still makes me emotional even now. I'm now 11 months pregnant, and the baby is not ready to come. My mom had not come at that time. The same week that my mom finally came, I went into labor. That same week. Call me superstitious, but I believe that my daughter could feel the negative energy around. Before my mom came, she could feel the negative energy, and she was not ready to come out because she was not happy with the hands that would receive her. And when my mom came, she could feel that different energy, and she was ready to come. However, when I got into labor, my aunts did not allow my mom to go to the hospital with me. I had to take a taxi. And I remember it was the fellow passengers in the taxi that were consoling me, encouraging me, when the contractions hit. So now I'm in labor. The first day of labor, I didn't actually know it was labor pain. I thought, because I felt like I wanted to stool. And each time I go to the toilet, I cannot. Nothing happens. I cannot stool. My stomach was hurting, so I thought it's because I haven't succeeded in stooling. That's why my stomach is hurting. I didn't know it was labor pain, and it was bearable at that time. I went through the first day, still going to the toilet multiple times and failing. At night, it became more and more painful, I didn't understand what was happening. I did not even suspect that it was labor pain. The next day, I told my mom and my aunt how I've been feeling. My aunt took me to a nearby clinic to check, and they checked, and yes, it was labor pain, but the dilation was still like nothing. She brought me back home, and she told me to walk around, and I walked for a very, very long time. After that, she told me to take a taxi and go to the hospital. She didn't allow my mom to come with me. I took a taxi. And to take a taxi, you have to walk for some time, like maybe 10-15 minutes before you get to the road. And then I have to get a taxi there. And I remember there were my fellow passengers in the taxi that were encouraging me and comforting me every time the contractions hit. I reached the hospital, checked in and everything. Then later on, my aunt came. She came with my things, pretty much. And on the list, they had mentioned there to come with bread and tea, what we call bread and tea in Cameroon. But the tea is actually chocolate powder and some milk and sugar or sweetener mixed in a cup of warm water. So she didn't bring it. When I had asked her about it, she said, these people, they are just Langa people. They want to eat it. So she's not going to be the one to feed them. And she didn't buy it. So now the second day of labor, I'm in the hospital and the pain is increasing. And the dilation is still very slow. Nothing is happening. The midwives decided to give me this forced labor drip in the hopes that it will help me to dilate faster. No, it did not. All it did was increase the pain, and I would scream. Hey, Jesus. And each time I scream, my aunt would just give me that look, like I would feel so uncomfortable. I feel like, hey, maybe I should shut the hell up. But the pain would not allow me to sit quiet. In the later hours of that day, like now it's already nighttime. I was in the delivery room. Women will come in, give birth, go, come in, give birth, go. I'm still there. Nothing is happening. The first labor Jew was showing me shege. And then my water broke. In the later hours of the second day, my water broke. When it broke, still, that's it. Nothing happened until the second day was over. Then we entered the third day. My third day of labor. The midwives, they started becoming worried and uncomfortable. And I remember that they even gathered around my bed and they prayed for me. They prayed hard. When we were in the early hours of the third day of labor, the midwife said she was going to check, and if I'm still not ready, or if Precious is not ready, she'll have to call the doctor to come and do a CS. But when she checked, Precious's head was already showing. So I had to hurriedly go and climb on the delivery table. And because Precious has been trapped, even after my water broke, she was trapped in for so long, they had to get her out as fast as possible. So they had to tear me. They tore me open. And when they did that, she did come quickly. But when she came out, she did not cry. Hey, Jesus. So I was like, hey. So all this, my suffering like this, I will come and give birth to stillborn. God forbid. I asked them, why is my baby not crying? They said it's because she has ingested a lot of the water that broke. So they had to drain her nostrils, they had to drain from her mouth also, and then she started crying. And they put her on my chest and then took her to go and clean her up and do their stuff. Meanwhile, they have to sew me up. But because my body was so weak, they were not sure that I could take the anesthesia because I was super weak at this time. They had to sew me without anesthesia. Jesus, that's what they need to do. I thought my pain was over. Oh, Jesus. I forgot how many stitches they gave me, but each stitch felt like forever. When they were finally done, they told me to see if I can walk, come down from the delivery table. I did. And when I gave a few steps, I got dizzy. And I almost fell, but the midwife caught me. Then they told my aunts to bring the food, the bread and the tea that they had written on the list. And my aunt said there's nothing for me to eat. And for the way the midwife, they vex now. They vex very badly. And they're like, but this girl has been here since yesterday. She has been with us for a very long time. And you have been here for a good amount of time. So why didn't you think that you could go and get her something to eat after she has given birth? The highlights of the very final, she went and she brought some bread and cold tea. The chocolate powder and the milk in cold water, because I don't know if she couldn't get warm water or if she didn't care for it. I don't know. I ate and I regained some strength after that. Then she went and brought my mom. And when she brought my mom to the hospital, she didn't visit until when we were discharged. And now my mom, remember that is the same week that my mom came, that I started labor. So my mom is in Nigeria. She had never been to Nigeria before. She's in a hospital that she had never been to before. Her daughter just gave birth. We need to eat. So she will go out every time, go and ask around where she can buy food and stuff to come so that we can eat, where she can get our supplies. It was crazy. But she was happy. Her daughter is alive. She's now a grandmother. Her grandbaby is alive and healthy. When we were finally discharged, that's when my aunt came and took us back. I've forgotten how many days we spent in the hospital. I don't know if it was like 2 days. It was when we got discharged that my aunt came and took us back home. Things did not get better, especially with the baby. It did not get better. So my mom told my dad, look, I am not leaving this girl here with this baby. She will not survive. So it's either we come back home, you let me bring her with me, or I will stay here with them for good. My dad finally accepted for my mom to bring me home, but we didn't go to Cameroon directly. When we left Jos, we went to Port Harcourt. There we were living with a family friend who is the wife to a pastor and a counselor. At this point, I was slightly losing my sanity because it was a lot for me to deal with. It was a lot. But thank God for this family. The husband, he took my case as a special case. He kept counseling me, praying for me, working with me. And the wife also, she prepared me psychologically because I have to go back to Cameroon. Pastor became a born. You don't born, you never married. I have to go back to Cameroon. I have to go and face the world. I have to go and face the church. So they prepared me psychologically to go there and own my mistake, own my responsibility, a sincere apology, and mend things as much as possible and prepare to take care of this child. That's exactly what I did. Went back home. I did the best that I could to mend things with my dad, with the church, with the society. Of course, people mocked me. Of course they did, but it's okay. I was already prepared psychologically for that. Shortly after that, I left Cameroon, came to the UAE. God blessed me with a very, very good job. 6 months after I got the job, I brought my daughter with me, and we've been together since then. It's almost 10 years now that we're in the UAE, and it's been amazing.
Right, so you guys, you literally heard everything she had to say right there. Actually, I felt hot and bad for her when I heard that she had to come to Nigeria and she was being mistreated by the people that she was staying with. And even when her mother came, they did not stop. Like, they were like, she should go and give birth herself. Why some people just strong-hearted? I feel like they were trying to punish her, like, she, you won't go get belle. Now belle they do you, abi. You don't go chop the forbidden fruit. So therefore, you go face the wrath and the consequences of this thing you don't go do. That is what it was given, and they were trying to punish her. But right now, she's doing so well. That did not define her, and good thing that her mother stood for her, and her father, you know, even being a pastor, was able to forgive her and let it all go and make her come back to Cameroon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be leaving the creator's name here, so if you want to go watch her, you can just check the video. You'd see her name dancing right there, and go support her if you're interested. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.